Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Boxing Centre Sapayev in Karaganda City. Week 2 of the new Season 6 of the World Series of Boxing. And in WSB terms, we have ourselves what I would describe as a bit of a classico here, really. The Astana Arlans of Kazakhstan against the Azerbaijan Baku Fires, two very close rivals, you could describe them as, in AIBA boxing terms. The Astana Arlans, of course, the defending champions. They won it in Season 5. I was lucky enough to be ringside for the finals against the Cuba Domodores in Astana. Won a thrilling bout over 2 days, 6-4. It looked like it might go to a tie break. They were 5-4 up heading into the super heavyweights, and Ivan Dichko got the job done against Yehandi Toyrak to give them the 6-4 win. The Azerbaijan Baku Fires beat the Astana Arlans back in Season 4 in the semi-finals when they made their way all the way to the finals, losing to the Cuba Domodores. That was courtesy of a box-off. So they'll be looking to try and take an early advantage against their Kazakh opponents this afternoon. They met twice in the group stages last season. The Astana Arlans emerged victorious on both occasions. They went through the first 13 matches in the group stages unbeaten, the Arlans, before losing to Italia Thunder in the final week, in week 14. That allowed Italia Thunder actually to progress to the knockout stages. Different format to the competition this year. Last year it was 2 groups of 8, so 14 matches boxed by all teams. So boxers could fight a maximum of 7 times, and there was qualification for Olympic places available at that stage. 17 fighters qualified for Rio, courtesy of coming top of their rankings, or in the top 2 of their rankings, in each of the individual weight divisions. It's different this time around. It's 4 groups of 4, so not nearly as much boxing, not this heavy a schedule. You can't qualify for the Olympics via WSB this time around, but what you can do by competing is make yourself eligible for the final qualifying tournaments, which are coming up in various locations. There are some in Argentina, Cameroon and China in March. In Europe there are competitions coming up in Turkey, in Bulgaria, and then in June in Azerbaijan there is the final qualification for WSB and APB. So it's been a long, hard road for AIBA boxers over the last year or so, particularly the last year. 2015 was a tough year.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We are glad to see you here in Karaganda at the great boxing evening by WSB. Добрый вечер, уважаемые дамы и господа. Мы рады вас видеть сегодня в этом великолепном центре развития бокса имени Серика Сабиева. Караганды қаласы қашанда Қазақстанның спорт орталығы болып саналған. Бұл жерде ежелгі спорт дәстүрі, жоғары рухани имандылық пен жеңіске деген ынта әрқашанда болған. 18 января в Центре олимпийской подготовки состоялась презентация двукратного победителя WSB и действующего чемпиона всемирной серии бокса, обновленного состава команды Astana Arlans, который в этом сезоне выступит в группе D с командами Узбекские Тигры, Пуэрто-Рико Hurricanes, Азербайджан Baku Fires. Дамы и господа, приготовьтесь стать свидетелями бескомпромиссных боев, которые пройдут в этом сезоне в Петропавловске и городе Усть-Каменогорск. Ну а сегодня мы ожидаем противостояния команд, хорошо известных друг другу соперников. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to see the match of the World Series of Boxing WSB between our guests from Azerbaijan, professional club Azerbaijan Baku Fires, and WSB last season champions Astana Arlans Kazakhstan boxing team. Ендеше кешімізді бастаймыз және қонақтарымызды ринг көріне қарсы алыңыздар. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Azerbaijan Baku Fires.
Well, here are the Azerbaijan Baku fives, 4 fighters making their way to the ring. 5 different weight categories tonight: light flyweight, bantamweight, light welterweight, middleweight and heavyweight. The light flyweight contender there, Javid Dadashov, won't be joining us in the ring. He'll be making his final preparations. The other 4 step into face-off against the Astana Arlans and be introduced to this pretty expectant crowd.
Bugün elimde boks toplamasının 2 mərtəbə olsunun çempionları Kazakhstan, Astana, Arlans!
Some new faces in that Azerbaijan Baku fires line-up. The likes of Gadzi Aliyev and Murtazaliev have got lots of experience. The other 3, Dadashov, Magomedov and Kardziani, not so much, so we'll have to see what they've got. The Astana Arlans, on the other hand, are very experienced. Timurtas Yusupov, Mirblat Toitov, Ashkat Walikhanov, Miram Sultanov have all got a lot of WSB experience. Yurkin Bukhametsan, the heavyweight, is a new one, but he'll be expected to slot into this team pretty seamlessly. As I mentioned before, the last time we saw them was when they were winning the WSB. They're now 2-time champions, won it in Season 3 and in Season 5. Denoted by the 2 stars there underneath the Arlans logo, you can see.
Azerbaijan Baku fighters promosyonu tanış bolumuzda. Weight category 49 kilogram. Javid Dadashov. 26 kilo salmak derecesi. Yash Magomedov. 64 kilo salmak derecesi. Gaybatullah Kazakhstan.
Individual pairings being announced. Haji Murtazaliev, the WSB veteran, fighting a heavyweight. He's from campaign at super heavyweight for the most part last season. Timurtas Yusupov with a little bit of a sweat on there. Miram Sultanov last season had an absolutely excellent season. Beat Arlen Lopez in the finals. Lopez who then went on to win gold at the World Championships. So the fighters make their way out of the ring. And the first fight of the night will be at light flyweight between Timurtas Yusupov and Javid Dadashov, who will be making their final preparations, getting gloved up, hitting the pads, getting themselves nice and loose. And Yusupov, who was 4-1 last season, Had the opening bout of that finals against Cuba Domadores, beating Ioannis Arlans and getting his team off to a really good start, which was absolutely crucial for them. Arlans went on to win gold at the World Championships, so that was a colossal performance from Yusupov.
За помощь и содействие в организации мероприятий Всемирной серии бокса. А также выражаем благодарность сети семейных ресторанов «Макдак». Дамы и господа, информационным партнером клуба и хост-вещателем матчей Astana Arlans является телеканал «Хабар». Демеушілерімізге қош келдіңіздер ағайын. Дамы и господа, нынешний сезон будет непростым для наших орланов. Даниил Илюсинов, Кайрат Ералиев, Жанибек Алимханова, Иван Тычко, которые выступали в составе Орлана в прошлом году, вернулись в полное расположение национальной сборной для подготовки в связи с Олимпиадой в Рио-де-Жанейро. Один из лидеров клуба Всемирной серии бокса в своей весовой категории Василий Левит, завоевавший олимпийскую лицензию через WSB, также готовится в составе Олимпийской сборной Республики Казахстан. Хотим пожелать от всего сердца удачи нашим бойцам. Однако мы уверены в молодых, полных задора ребятах, которые спешат объявить на весь мир о своей готовности показать достойный бокс любым соперникам. Против нас выставляют лучших, и нам всегда есть чем ответить. Astana Arlans, алга! Бүгінгі кездесудің төрешілер алқасымен таныстырып өтейік. Позвольте ознакомить вас с судейским комитетом. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me introduce the judge committee. Фатхи Матбоа, Франция. Mick Bassi, England. Alan Ross, Finland. Kestutis Bogdanovičius, Lithuania. Michael Gallagher, Ireland. Aydın Emre, Turkey. And supervisor of the match, Mr. Helmut Ranze, Germany. Ringside доктора Александр Неверкович, Россия. Алмагүл Ғалымтаева, Казахстан. Ханымдар мен мырзалар, жекпе-жектердің жобасы 3 минуттан 5 раунд. Формула боя 5 раундов по 3 минуты. Давайте пожелаем нашим орланам удачи, друзья! Жаңа жоғарыда айтқандай, біз тікелей эфирдің уақытысын күтіп, соған байланысты кешімізді бастайтын боламыз. Дамы и господа, в связи с прямым эфиром мы будем ждать времени, дадим буквально пару минут, чтобы мы могли начать наш первый бой. Спасибо.
Well, just a slight interlude here before the first fight of the night. That'll be at light flyweight, 49 kilograms, between Timurtash Yusupov and Javid Dadashov. 5 contests, all over 5 3-minute rounds. A format in WSB that we've got very accustomed to. This now season 6, of course. And they will be at light flyweight, bantamweight, light welterweight, middleweight, and heavyweight. The other 5 weights will be fighting next week. A couple of matches already this week. British Lionhearts against USA Knockouts was an entertaining fixture.
Алғашқы жекпе-жекке жолымызды берейік. 49 келі салмақ дәрежесіндегі боксшылар шаршы алаңға шығуға дайын. Олай болса, қарсы алыңыздар. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the blue corner of the ring, the boxer of Azerbaijan Baku Fires team, Javid Dadashov. Қарсы alыңızдар.
Well, making the walk into the ring now for the Azerbaijan Baku Fires is Javid Dadashov, just 20 years old. Really established himself last year when he took on and beat the EUBC champion Salman Alizada. That was at the Great Silkway tournament in Baku. European Games were in Baku last summer as well. European Championships in Samodov in Bulgaria. Dadashov just looks a little bit nervous as he's making his way to the blue corner, to be expected. 5-round distance. If not encountered it before, can be a little bit daunting. I'm talking to some of the British Lionhearts fighters about exactly that situation they find themselves in when they go to fight for the first time. It's what they train for, of course, but fight night and sparring training are two very different things. And Dadashov has got a job on his hands here, that's for sure, against a much, much more experienced opponent in Timurtas Yusupov. That is not to say that he will not be up to the task. You see some fighters, some real talents emerging in WSB, also in major tournaments as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Javid Stadashev. Onun karşılası Şarşalang'ın kızıl buruşuna Astana Arlans klubunun boksçusu Kırsalınızlar Timurtas Yusupov.
Well, Yusupov, as I was saying, got the Astana Arlans off to an all-important good start against the Cuba Domodores in the Season 5 finals. Boxer for boxer, before those finals, you would have made the Cuba Domodores the favourites. They cruised through the entire season undefeated and were just ram-packed full of star names, and they needed to get that first point under their belt. Argalagos, very young, just 18 years old. I wouldn't say he froze on a big occasion necessarily, but he didn't really get going. Yusupov really got on top of him from the start. They just never really allowed him to box his fight. He was very determined, he was very compact, he was quite rugged at times, and Yusupov got the win. And his overall record in WSB is excellent. Only Yosvani Vetia and Paddy Barnes have beaten him. Barnes, double Olympic medalist. Vetia, another one of the highly skilled Cubans who moved up a weight from light fly to fly last season. And Yusupov will be expected to get the win here. He wrestled Saliev when they boxed Azerbaijan last season.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Timurtas Yusupov. Ladies and gentlemen, the referee of this bout, Mr. Arlans, Finland.
Gentlemen, keep your head up, no holding, no low blows. Good luck to both.
Arlans of Finland, the referee for this opening bout. Kazakhstan do have a fighter qualified for the Olympics at 49 kilograms already, actually, in Burzan Shakipov. He was in the Astana Arlans squad last season. He isn't this time around. So a touch of gloves. Timurtas Yusupov in the predominantly black and yellow shorts. Dadashov of the Azerbaijan Baku Fires in the flaming black shorts. Yusupov with that nicely balanced stance, just trying to hold out that left hand, does throw quite a lot of feints, dips in with that front foot, and then just moves away again. Throws in combinations, but not particularly flashy combinations. 2-3 punch flurries normally, working off that jab if he can. Dadashov just holding out that left hand himself. Yet to really get anything away. Nice looking jab there from Yusupov. Sticks in that backhand, that right hand. Again, just a nice 1-2 there, and then good use of the reflexes just to lay back onto the back foot and take that chin back out of the way. That was a heavier looking right hand there. Again, just punching off the back foot with the right hand. It's a good, neat start here from Yusupov, and that's the kind of fighter he is. He doesn't give a lot away. He doesn't stay in range for very long. That was a good example there. He flicks out that jab and then just nips back onto the back foot. Does tend to move forward and back in straight lines a bit, but that really relies on his opponent to pursue him if they're going to capitalise on that kind of style. Dadashov is trying to keep those gloves up high at the moment. And just got caught by left-hand as he tried to move in himself there. Dadashov just wandered in a little bit behind that right hand. But he's very nicely balanced, Yusupov. Never too much distance between those 2 feet. Where the front foot goes, the back foot follows, which is so important because it just means that the balance is always there. If the feet are too far apart, then you can be a little bit immobile. If they're too close together, then you can tend to topple over at times. It means you stand a little bit too tall. Just falling short with the right hand. Dadashov trying to come back with his own right hand. And it is a big ask, this, for Dadashov. I said that right at the very start. He's 20 years old. This is a tall order for him. Only the very best of beating Yusupov, as mentioned, was Barney Vaitier and Paddy Barnes. Bell goes again to the first round, and a round that will be given to Timurtash Yusupov without any shadow of a doubt, I would have thought. Good accurate right hand. Yusupov, he's an accurate puncher. That's really his strength. Against Arlans in that final, he just managed to get off first. That was really what won the fight for him. And Arlans, as I mentioned, won gold at World Championships in Doha, beating Vasily Egorov of Russia in the final.
Seconds out.
And it was Barnes, who I mentioned, who qualified for the Olympics via WSB at this weight last season. 60 fighters in total have qualified already, 17 from last season's World Series Boxing, 23 from the World Championships, and the other 20 from AIBA Pro Boxing. There's another 190 places still available. Competing in WSB this season gives you entry to the upcoming qualifiers, essentially. So you might see teams mixed around quite a bit over the course of the competition to make sure that boxers can get their shot at gaining entry to the biggest competition of all, of course, in Rio this August. Dadashov looking to try and be a bit more aggressive in the second round. But really struggling to close the gap and get into the kind of distance he needs to. He's been caught on the end of that jab. It's easy to say sitting here, but he needs to try and bob and weave his way onto the inside if he can, because at the minute, every time he comes forward, he's just eating that left hand, and Yusupov is throwing it with more and more confidence every time. He's established a good distance here, and the problem that Dadashov has there as well is that when he does try and come forward, he tends to just walk forward a bit. That right foot, that right leg just comes round, and he's standing slightly square, which makes him pretty easy to hit for Yusupov. Nice 1-2 there again from Yusupov, and then just pulls the chin back and moves out of the way. He's a good economical kind of a fighter. But Dadashov will learn a lot from this. Five fighters qualified for the Olympics already at this weight. Arlans, Barnes, Egorov, Liu and Shakipov. So there will be plenty more to come. Into the last 30 seconds of the second round. it's an interesting group, this as well, Group D, because the other two teams in it are the Uzbek Tigers and the Puerto Rico Hurricanes, and I think you could quite accurately describe it out of the four groups as the group of death, really, because Uzbekistan, with a franchise for the first time, have got some real strength there. The likes of Murodjon Akhmadaliev, Ainur Abduraimov, both medalled at the World Championships, are in their squad, as is Hirshenbek Normatov. So they will be strong. Bektemir Melekuziev too, he got a medal in Doha. Puerto Rico Hurricanes and the Uzbek Tigers taking each other on this weekend. I mentioned that bout between the British Lionhearts and USA Knockouts that took place on Thursday night. Cracking contest it was as well. 3-2 to the British Lionhearts. It went down to the heavyweights. Lawrence McCauley beating Cam Awesome. Harvey Horn with a win. Pat McCormack as well. Really good matchup between Shakur Stevenson and Peter McGrail at bantamweight. McGrail, Youth Olympic medalist, bronze medalist. Stevenson, a Youth Olympic gold medalist, won the US Olympic trials. He could be something really, really special, I think. So one to look out for come Rio. Still has to qualify though, as do so many others. Again, Yusupov just moving in and out, just darts in and out. Doesn't really commit to that jab if he doesn't think it's going to reach. Dadashov just trying to use some upper body movement. And that was better, actually. He just rolled away underneath the right hand, but couldn't get a punch away of his own. What Yusupov does, he does very well. Better from Dadashov, though. Left hand, couple of left hands. Just caught Yusupov on the retreat there. Well, the referee just having a quick word with Dadashov about keeping his head up. That's a big thing with AIBA boxing. The heads up campaign that Dr. Wu, the president, has been championing since the World Championships in Doha. The European Boxing Confederation and the Thai Boxing Confederation have just signed up to it in recent weeks. It's just designed really to raise awareness of head clashes, because since the head guards came off a couple of years ago, there have been cuts and a few concussions due to no head guards, which is absolutely to be expected, but not that many, to be honest. It hasn't played too big a part, but they want to minimise it as much as they can. A symposium held in Doha about orofacial trauma, which is cuts and concussions to the rest of us. Dadashov just reaching in with the right hand to the body. He's had a better round in round 3, but I wouldn't say he's done enough to win it. Again, the referee, Alan Roos, just warning Dadashov about dipping at the waist there, dipping too low. They can tend to, at times, get a little bit overcautious about it, the referees. I understand why, but sometimes you do just have to let the fighters fight. Final few seconds of round 3. Dadashov trying to finish with a flurry, and he did better in that round, the 20-year-old, but it's still another one in the bag there for Timirtas Yusupov, who is going to win this one, I would anticipate, by a score of 5-0. There's just too big a golfing experience and therefore class between these two. He's not being completely outdone in there, Dadashov. He's holding his own, but he's finding it hard against an opponent as skilled as this one. Just Yusupov won a gold medal at the 2013 Asian Championships. And there are the scores so far, and, well, it's not a difficult fight to score. I think it's fair to say that.
Seconds out.
The corner there just telling Dadashov really to try and move his head a bit more, try and move from side to side a bit more, and I felt he did do that actually in that third round. It's not that easy a thing to do. It takes its toll, that upper body movement. It relies on good fitness. And he just rolled onto a right hand there. He's doing the right thing. He's doing what his corner wants him to do, but the only problem with it is that someone like Yusupov can maybe anticipate what you're going to do and time it. Got into better distance there, Dadashov. He was standing a bit square, but just managed to get a couple of lefts and rights away. Yusupov always just circling, though. Light on his feet. Left hand there from Dadashov, just clipped Yusupov's chin. Just looking to measure that right hand with the left, just sticking it out. Sometimes he uses it as a weapon, that left hand, as a sharp stinging jab. Other times he just uses it as a yardstick almost, just to measure that gap and see if his right hand will reach if he throws it. Almost a right-hand lead there from Yusupov as he circled away to his right-hand side. Nice snappy 1-2. Dadashov just reaching out with that left hand. He's not managed to get too much away in this round. Again, Yusupov has been the busier. He's tucked up and covered up a bit better, Dadashov, but it's come at the expense really of throwing many punches. This kind of raiding style that Yusupov has is quite typical of a lot of Kazakh fighters. In throw 2-3 punch combinations, get back out again. A remnant, really, you would say, of the old computer scoring system which favoured that kind of approach. Well, bell goes to the end of the fourth. Just one more round to go between these two, this opening contest. At light flyweight. Week 2 of World Series boxing, the competition running for 11 weeks. All 10 weights fighting on the same weekend in week 11. Then there'll be quarter-finals, semi-finals and a final. And another round to Yusupov. 4 groups of 4, as I mentioned, so the top 2 in each group will go through to the quarter-finals. Slightly different last season with 2 groups of 8. Third-place teams played the second-place teams in a kind of pre-semi-final, if you like, and then the winners of that went on to play the teams who finished top of their groups. Those 2 teams were the Cuba Domodores and the Astana Arlans, who ended up meeting in the final. And it's Cuba who have the most fighters already qualified for Rio. Argelagos, Guzbani Veitia at flyweight, Andy Cruz at bantamweight, Lazaro Alvarez at lightweight, Yasnir Toledo at light welterweight, Arlen Lopez at middleweight, Julio de Cruz at light heavyweight. They had another prolific World Championships, as they generally tend to. There are still some big names, though, who haven't made it yet. Erislandi Savon at heavyweight would be one. It's just been difficult for Dadashov all the way through, really, to get inside that jab. Does have good reach, Yusupov, and he uses it well. I mentioned earlier on that he flicks out that left hand, always trying to find the right distance. Never leans into it. If he doesn't feel it's going to reach, he just brings it back. Maybe inches a little bit further forward, throws it again. That way, he never overcommits. You never really see him go over his front foot, as they say in boxing, which brings your weight forward and possibly onto the punches of your opponent. That back foot, for the most part, is anchored to the mat, to the canvas, every time he throws. Caught by the right hand there, Dadashov, as he just tried to throw a punch of his own, left himself slightly open. He's not a heavy hitter, Yusupov, but he just makes you pay for your mistakes. Being encouraged by the crowd maybe to go to work a little bit more in the conclusion of this fight. Just over 20 seconds remaining in the fifth and final round. And it's been a good disciplined, controlled performance from Yusupov. Well, the bell goes, a touch of gloves between the two fighters, and this will be the opening bout awarded to the Astana Arlans of Kazakhstan. There is no doubt whatsoever about that, as we've seen the scoring of it progress through the rounds. As mentioned, they were 13-0 before the final week of the group stages last season, and then lost away against Italia Thunder, which allowed Italia Thunder to qualify. And there was a great showdown in that match as well between Avoya Sepp and Valentino Manfredonia. Whoever won at light heavyweight got a qualification berth for Rio, and it was Manfredonia who came through. Sepp has since qualified himself, as has his other Croatian teammate Filip Hrgovic, who both boxed for the Astana Arlans last season. Both were missing though from the final due to an agreement the Croatian Boxing Federation had with the Arlans that after the group stages they wouldn't compete any longer due to the upcoming European Games and European Championships. So that makes that win over the Cuban Domadores even more impressive, that they were missing two sort of season campaigners. Still managed to come through. So these two fighters will be called to the centre of the ring. Yusupov just roped up and ready for the announcement. Just waiting for them to get those gloves off. Javid Dadashov can sometimes be quite a tricky procedure. Slight nick on the corner of his right eye there. Well, I'm not quite sure what has taken so long about this. They may as well just get on with the announcement, to be honest. Although they're being told that the gloves do need to be off before they can be taken through what is actually a formality. We know that this is going to be 50 points to 45 on all three judges' scorecards. 5 judges at ringside as always, 3 selected at random to have their scorecards collated. Well, there we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have decision of Judge Committee. Judge 1, 50-45. Judge 2, 50-45. Judge 3, 50-45. Winner points by unanimous decision. Winner is red corner,
So Teutas Yusupov gets the decision. He was a big favourite to take the opening bout at light flyweight, given his record in the World Series of Boxing. But no disgrace there for Javed Dadashov, not by any stretch. In against some very good opponents and held his own over the course of the 5 rounds. He never really got close to winning one. And he can take a lot from that. So the Astana Arlans get their WSB Season 6 off to a winning start. Well, the next fight of the night will be at Bantamweight between Middleweight Toitov and Yarash Magomedov. Toitov, another experienced WSB campaigner, another high-quality, high-caliber fighter. Magomedov, again, like Dadashov, inexperienced at this level.
Ladies and gentlemen, second bout, and the referee of this bout is Kestutis Bogdanovichus, Lithuania, Azerbaijan. İkinci yüzüge dayım olsanızlar boksçularımızı ilk turne şakrayak. 56 kilo salmak derecesi. Şarşılığına Azerbaycan klubunun tecrübeli müşesi Yarash Magomedov karşılaya.
Well, this is a little bit of a step into the unknown for Yarash Magomedov, 24 years old. Making his bow in Season 6 of the World Series of Boxing. And Bantamweight has been such a hot division. In last season's World Series of Boxing, in the World Championships as well, and also in the various continental championships, Europeans, Pan American, American, Asian, so many good fighters at 56 kilograms. To the likes of Muradjon Akhmadaliev, Dmitry Astana, Michael Conlon, Andy Cruz, Kadafi Jelkir, Vladimir Nikitin, Joe Shang, they've all qualified already for the Olympics. The likes of Rabesi Ramirez, for example, hasn't made it. Andy Cruz has for Cuba. Ramirez, a terrifically talented fighter.
Onun karşılası şarşalанға nağыз Arlan. Барлық Kazakhstandықтарға tanımal Bulgarı қолғап шеберімізді қарсылайық. Arlanımız Mirbolat Toitov!
And Middleweight Toitov will want to be joining that mix come the Olympic Games in Rio in the summer as well. He was 3-1 last season. Was nominated to compete in the box-off should it have been necessary, and it looked for a while like it might be, where he would have faced Andy Cruz. Ramirez got the nod for the Domodores in the finals, where he took on Kairat Uraliev, another really talented bantamweight. Uraliev, who was knocked out of the World Championship, somewhat controversially, I thought, against Muradjon Akhmadaliev. Boxed a good fight off the back foot. He felt he did enough to win it, but Akhmadaliev coming forward, making the fight, got the decision. But again, that just shows how much depth there is at 56 kilos. Toitov 8-2 overall in WSB, has only lost to Andrew Selby and the World Championship gold medalist Michael Conlon, and those are two high-class operators. Selby's now turned professional, but Olympic Games medalist, World Championship medalist rather, himself. And Toitov was part of the Arlans team that won back in season 3.
Let you get. No low blow, no one. Good luck.
And so Toitov quickly to the centre of the ring in that southpaw stance, leading with that right hand. Toitov in the yellow and black from the red corner of the Astana Arlans, Magomedov from the blue corner in the flaming shorts of the Azerbaijan Baku Fires, trying to get to work on the inside there with Toitov, pinning him back towards the neutral corner. Good positive start, quite a difference between these two in terms of height, you can see that already, I'm sure. And he's looking to try and rough Toitov up a bit here, Magomedov, and I don't think that's a bad plan, because what he cannot do is allow him to establish that distance and get that jab working. He's got to get inside it, and did there with a nice sneaky little left hand there, Magomedov. And there's a sign here that he could be capable of making this an interesting fight. That's no knockdown. Pushed over more than anything else, feet got in a tangle and down he went. And Toitov had just managed to measure Magomedov with a left hand before that. Just being warned about holding or punching around the back of the head. He's got to keep his own head moving here, Magomedov. That is absolutely key. Backhand just came through there from Toitov and got through. And he managed to turn his man there, Magomedov. And then just held on the inside. Referee not too quick to get in. Left hand there from Magomedov, got through. One came back from Toitov. That's where he can't be, just standing on the ropes with his back square to the ropes. Toitov will unload on him if he gets caught in that kind of position. Just static, immobile really. Reaching in behind that right-handed touch there, Magomedov, but he looks to have pretty good feet. Toitov trying to measure that backhand again, just holding out that right hand, doesn't really jab with it with any great power. It's a rangefinder more than anything else, and this is where Magomedov can do some good work. Just again got into range there, got into the pocket and was just cuffing Toitov, not with particularly good looking shots, but I think scoring punches. I was very specific in Aiva boxing about what is and isn't a scoring punch. Knuckle part of the glove on the target area, torso or head. So a cuffing blow to the side of the head, to the shoulder region might not count. There's blood coming from the eye there, from the right eye of Middleweight Toitov, just from the corner. Whether that was due to a head clash or a punch, I'm not sure. Maybe the referee will make that clear between rounds, but this has been an interesting opener between these two. It may well have been a head, the way that the two are coming forward. The blood seems to be running clear, though, of the eye, so that's good for Toitov. But again, another rough-looking left hand there coming in from Magomedov, and he's just trying to take Toitov out of his comfort zone here, and I would say that he's done that pretty effectively in that first round. And that's not an easy one to score, because Toitov maybe landed the cleaner punches, a couple of nice-looking body shots there, but Magomedov is bullying into him. I would imagine the judges might go with Toitov there, due to the fact that his work maybe was slightly cleaner, but the pressure really was put on by Magomedov, and second-guessing judges is always a very difficult thing to do. But what we do have here after the opening round is a really good live fight. Magomedov has got to try and keep up that level of pressure that he applied in the first round, and Toitov barely breathing heavily at all there. Looks to be in very good condition. So bell goes at the start of the second round, and again Magomedov just comes straight forward. He does come in with his head a little bit, but the referee has not been as fussy in this one, Mr. Bogdanovicius, as Alan Roos was in the opening bout. He walked onto a combination there though, Magomedov, which is going to be his problem. That will happen if Toitov can time him on the way in, then he could find himself eating some fairly solid shots. That kind of movement, that bob and weave, is what he needs to keep employing, and the glove's just coming down a little bit there, and he got tagged with a couple from Toitov, who was always revolving those hands, trying to keep them moving. Dug in a nice body shot there, left hand to the body from Toitov. And again, the head's just rubbing together. And that's more where Magomedov will want it. I don't think he's landing all that many clean punches on the inside there, but if he could get inside those long levers of Toitov, that's where he's got the best chance. Only danger is that you get a bit too close and then don't really have any room to get those arms free. All about distance boxing, really. And it's the feet that take you there. A left and a right hand got through there for Magomedov. Nice movement there, though, from Toitov. Just managed to turn his man, spin away. The damage to the right eye doesn't seem to be any concern, to be honest. The positioning of it is good. If you're ever going to be cut, that's the kind of place you want it to happen, because it just runs down clear of the eye, and the corner seems to have done a pretty good job with it too. Nice 1-2 there from Toitov. Well, the gum shield has come out there from Magomedov, and that's interesting because there wasn't any real reason for it to come out. I think he might be blowing a little bit in there, Yarosh Magomedov, and that might have just slipped out by design rather than by accident, just to get himself a few seconds breather, and he's taken advantage of them because he comes flying back out as soon as the referee gives the instruction to box. It's not a great sign, that, for Magomedov. I think in the next 3 rounds of this fight, he might just gas a bit, and Toitov, I'm sure, will take advantage of that. Into the final 10 seconds of the round, and this has been Toitov's round, I would say, without too much doubt. The head's not moving as much now from Magomedov, and he's being found with regularity by Middleweight Toitov.
Успешно выступает за команду Astana Arlans на протяжении нескольких лет. А в 3-м сезоне он стал чемпионом всемирной серии бокса.
He did do some effective work, though, still in that round, Magomedov, in the first half of the round, really. But every now and again, just being caught a little bit square. That was a nice left hand that came through there from Toitov. And it was a terrific World Championship final we saw between Michael Conlan and Murodjon Akhmadaliev. I mentioned Akhmadaliev earlier on. He's in the Uzbek Tigers squad. It was a great fight, it really was. Akhmadaliev's a come-forward fighter, really puts pressure on you. Conlan can box any way he wants, really. But I think he might have seen the fight between Akhmadaliev and Kairat Yaraliev. And there are the scores. And 2 cards going to Toitov so far. The other a draw, the other giving Magomedov the first round, which I would have been tempted to do myself, actually. But Conlan chose to bring it to Akhmadaliev, and they really engaged. Conlan was put down, actually, towards the conclusion of the fight, but still did enough to win it. Kind of fight that you wouldn't have seen with the computer scoring system. They were in at close quarters, really just standing toe-to-toe at times. Very entertaining stuff. Nice left hand there from Magomedov, got through. And he's certainly come to have a go here, to give it a go, Magomedov. He's not going to leave anything to chance. He's not going to leave this venue wondering what would have happened if he'd really just tried to pour the pressure on. And again, he started the round with some ambition here, but it's just whether he can sustain it for all three. And Toitov, again, is barely even sweating, barely drawing a heavy breath. Lazy looking left hand there, though, from Toitov. Good crisp backhand. You see a lot of southpaws in WSB. I'm not quite sure why that is, but over the last couple of seasons I've seen a lot of left-handed fighters, port-siders as they're sometimes called. And that's where Magomedov needs it, just to get inside those long arms. Toitov with a right hand found the target. Nice 1-2 there from Toitov, and then just took the weight back to avoid the punch that was coming back. A little bit of blood coming from that cut again, but it's not really worsened. Magomedov missing with a wide left hand, and just gets those feet moving to try and take a little bit of a breather. Referee just having a quick word about heads there. We didn't hear anything from him about the cut suffered by Toitov, but it's not going to make any difference. It only really comes into play if it's bad enough for the fight to be stopped, and then of course you need to know whether it was caused by a punch or a head clash, because the fight would be either then heading to the scorecards, or it would be decided in favour of the fighter who inflicted the cut by legal means, by method of technical knockout injury. Not always easy for referees to tell. And the gum shields come out again here, and he can't keep doing this, Yarash Magomedov. These could be accidents, but you can't have your gum shield slipping out too often. And I think he may have taken a point away there, the referee. I'm not absolutely sure. We didn't see that motion from him too clearly. We'll know when we see the scorecards, but he's got to be careful, Magomedov, in there. Even boxing. Very strict code of conduct when it comes to enforcing the rules, the laws. Well, that was the instance where the gum shield came out, and that one I would say was absolutely fair enough, because he copped a left hand and then out it came.
Seconds out. Round 4,
into the fourth round. Mirblat Toitov of the Astana Arlans in the yellow and black. Yarash Magomedov of the Azerbaijan Baku Fires in the flaming black shorts. After 2 rounds on 2 of the scorecards, Toitov was 2 rounds up, 20-18. On the other one, it was 19 apiece. So 1 round each. Didn't see the scores at the end of that 3rd round, but I would imagine that that 3rd round went unanimously, I would say, to Mirblat Toitov. He's still coming forward and making the fight here, Magomedov. I did wonder in that 2nd round whether he would run out of steam towards the end of this fight. He still might, but he's doing everything he can to put the pressure on here. He's a physical, rugged kind of a fighter, Magomedov. He could do with a little bit more craft, a little bit more guile, I would say. He has that guard up nice and tight, but as he walks forward, he's not really looking. Well, they both landed almost simultaneously there. Left hand from Magomedov and then a stinging right from Toitov. And Toitov just happier in this round to stand and trade by the look of things, which may be a sign that he's getting a little bit tired himself. The feet aren't quite moving as quickly as they were before, and this isn't really the kind of fight that he needs to be fighting here, Toitov. He's got that cut, he doesn't really want to risk making that any worse. Head clashes are still a distinct possibility here. Really, he's turned orthodox as well from southpaw for the majority of this round. And just standing with his feet square there, straight in front of Magomedov, he just backs off. So Toitov maybe wanting to take the fight to Magomedov more in this round, but I think the corner would probably prefer him to get back on that jab and keep it at distance. He doesn't really need to be doing this. Magomedov just sprang in with the right hand. Good, solid shots there from Toitov, who was just able to set his feet as a result of this differing approach he's taken in the fourth round. It was a good right hand from Toitov, not really a jab, just slung up from the waist, just a straight spearing right hand through the guard. It's been an entertaining fight, this, and Magomedov can take a lot of credit for that because he has come to fight. A bit of damage on the right eye there of Magomedov, I think, as well, just maybe a bit of bruising, a bit of swelling. Final few seconds. The bell goes. Just one more round to go after this. This is the second fight of the night at Bantamweight. The opener was won at light fly by Timurtash Yusupov. Leaps in behind that left hook sometimes, Magomedov. It's quite a dangerous punch to throw, but he does land it sometimes. I wonder if we'll get a look at some scores at the conclusion of this round. Nice, tight, compact venue, boxing centre. Sapayev, those WSB finals were in the National Tennis Centre in Astana. Much bigger venue, it was absolutely packed out as well, both nights.
Seconds out. Round 5, без вечера.
And again, Magomedov just comes straight forward, and the referee wondering about the head, and the gum shield has come out again. It's going to need to be washed off once more. That's the third time. Well, he's taken a point for the gum shield coming out. I wonder whether he did that previously. We couldn't quite see. He certainly did that time. So this could be, in terms of points, rather a wide defeat for Magomedov on some of the cards. If it does turn out to be that way, then it won't really tell the story, because he's put a lot into this. But out of the two, Toitov is just the more schooled, the more experienced, the cleaner, the more accurate. Magomedov's one of those fighters who's always just going to try and drag you through the mud, really. And when that happens, you have to be a good, slick fighter to, well, to come out clean. Nice uppercut there from Toitov. Just with the weight back in his heels, shoveled it up from the waist. Nice 1-2, and then just move back onto the outside, just holding his feet a bit more there to try and throw a combination, then just dabs at his head once more. The heads haven't really clashed too much, they've rubbed together a lot. Magomedov slightly the shorter man, so on the inside, if he just dips that head, then it comes up underneath Toitov's chin. Toitov just trying to pot shot with that left hand a bit. stuck with the southpaw stance for the most part, did briefly turn orthodox, and this is good work from Magomedov, again just brawling his man really. And the snap has gone from that backhand of Toitov. Trying to mix things up a little bit more in this final round. We haven't seen that uppercut really prior to this final 3 minutes. He's thrown it a couple of times. Toitov trying to keep those feet moving. Nice right hand there from Toitov, but Magomedov answered him back as Toitov was just standing there and admiring his work. Magomedov never gives you a moment's peace. Well, the bell goes at the end of the 5th and final round. And that was a good fight at bantamweight between Toitov and Magomedov. Toitov with the advantage in terms of experience. But Magomedov brought a lot to that contest. It's Toitov's win on the cards for me, particularly when you consider that the Azerbaijan Baku Fires man had at least 1 point taken. His gum shield continually coming out, but Toitov will know that he's been in a fight. There's that damage to the eye, of course. There's a little bit of damage to the eye of Magomedov there as well, as they try and wrestle these gloves off. Just 3 matches for each team at the weight divisions, at the 10 weight division, so I have a feeling that next time around for the Astana Arlans we may well see Kairat Uraliev, who I've mentioned a couple of times during the course of that fight. Got to get the appearances in WSB to gain entry to the Olympic qualifiers that remain, and every country of course will want to get as many fighters qualified for that as possible. It then comes down to who in your weight division from your country then gets first crack. All sorts of jockeying for position. Well, let's get the result now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have decision of judge committee. Judge 1, 49-44. Judge 2, 50-43. Judge 3, 49-44. Winning points by unanimous decision. Winner is red corner, Middleweight.
So Middleweight Toitov gets a decision. He won every round according to one judge, 50 points to 43. So 2 points did go. He was penalised 2 points there. Total of 2 warnings, as you saw at the bottom of the scorecard there. The other 2 judges gave it 49-44. So did give Magomedov a round, but those 2 deductions meant that rather than scoring 46 points as he would have done, he ended up on 44. So decent performance from him, I thought. He brought the fight to Toitov there, but again the golf and experience and class between the 2, as it was at light flyweight between Timurtas Jusupov and Javid Dadashov. Just a bit too much for the Azerbaijan Baku fighter bridge, but again certainly no face lost there by Magomedov.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to continue boxing night, and the referee of third bout is Michael Gallagher, Ireland. Please welcome. Весовая категория до 91 килограмм. И еще одно противостояние знакомых друг другу соперников. Встречаем боксера в синем углу ринга. Боксер команды Azerbaijan Baku Fires, Хаджи Муртузалиев.
Well, a slight change to the established order here, because this is Haji Murtazaliev, as announced by our ring announcer. You would expect that we would have had the light welterweights next at 64 kilograms, Ashkat Palakhanov against Gaibatullah Gadzhialiev, but it looks like the heavyweights, Haji Murtazaliev, 28 years old. We saw him box Filip Hrgovic at super heavyweight last season. He'd previously been the last man to beat Hrgovic, and Murtazaliev is a WSB veteran. I think it would be fair to describe him as. A good fighter though. Strange fight, the one against Hrgovic. He was retired at the end of the first round when he seemed to be doing okay, but he had to step in at rather short notice. We're expecting Hrgovic to be in against Abdulkadir Abdullayev, I think, and then it turned out to be Murtazaliev.
Onun karşılası Şarşalay'ın kızıl buruşuna Astana Arlans komandasının birli boksçusu Kırsalaya Yerkan Muhamedcan.
And competing at heavyweight for the Astana Arlans is Yerkan Muhamedcan, 21 years old, making his debut in WSB. It was Vasily Levit who competed at heavyweight for the Arlans last season. Qualified for the Olympics via WSB. There was only the one spot available actually at heavyweight, and he got it. Lost in the finals to Oslandi Savon, was 8-2 in the season overall. So big shoes for Yerkan Muhamedcan to fill. Levit is still part of this Arlans squad, but as I say, having already qualified for the Olympics, this good example of the Arlans just mixing things up a bit, as they did during last season as well. Not many of their fighters qualified by WSB. Really due to the fact that hardly any of them were put in every bout, which you needed to be to have a realistic chance of finishing in the top 1 or top 2 in your weight category. But as a team, obviously it worked because it kept certain fighters fresh and they won the competition.
Okay, gentlemen, it's very important. Keep your heads up, keep your punches up, no holding. Shake hands and good luck.
Round 1, birinci round.
So Haji Murtazaliev of the Azerbaijan Baku 5 boxing out of the blue corner in the flaming shorts, and Yerkan Muhamedcan of the Astana Arlans in the yellow and black in the southpaw stance. 2 southpaws here, in fact. Big overhand left there from Muhamedcan. The crowd enjoyed that one. Muhamedcan on debut. Murtazaliev just trying to get off first there. Muhamedcan jabs to the body. Heavyweight at the World Championships was won by Evgeny Tishenko. Eruslandi Savon finishing in the silver medal position. Savon still to qualify for Rio. Looking to pile in behind that left hand, Muhamedcan. A good old-fashioned 1-2, really. Good use of the backhand there again by Muhamedcan. just reaching in a little bit, leaning in sometimes with the jab there, Murtazaliev, and Mukhamatsyan of these two uses his reach a little bit better. Better jab that time from Murtazaliev. And it's a good even contest so far. Astana Arlans, remember, 2-0 up after the fights at light flyweight and bantamweight. After this, fights at light welterweight and middleweight to come. So the normal order of things has been rejigged slightly. This heavyweight contest coming in the middle of the 5 fights rather than at the end. And a tight opening round, but that maybe will just nick it for Mukhamatsyan. Landing a good right hand, good smearing right hand right towards the end of the round, and well, that's a good, lively first 3 minutes.
Дамы и господа, представляем вам боксера синего угла. Один из опытных боксеров проекта. 5 лет боксирует в 5-раундовых боях. В предыдущие годы боксировал в весовой категории свыше 91 килограмм. В этом сезоне перешел в весовую категорию до 91 килограмм. Поприветствуем Azerbaijan Baku Fighters, Haji Murtazaliev.
Well, all 3 judges have gone for Mukhamatsyan. I would have given him that round myself. It was fairly tight, but it's a good eye-catching punch that he threw towards the end of the round. Murtazaliev caught a few coming forward, just a little abrasion really, just below the bottom lip. Nothing to trouble a seasoned warrior like Murtazaliev, that's for sure.
Round 2, ikinci round.
Again, the referee just making his point about keeping those heads up. Lets that backhand go really nicely, Mukhamatsyan. There's just a real nice, loose feel to his boxing. Seems relaxed, which is pretty impressive when you consider that this is his World Series boxing debut. Under some pressure as well, fighting at home against an experienced fighter. Good left hand there from Murtazaliev. Short left hand, then works to the body. Referee just leaving them to it for the most part, Michael Gallagher, again, which is good to see, getting involved when he needs to, but not stepping into break all that often, just indicating to Mukhamatsyan there that he made contact with the inside of his glove with the forearm. As I mentioned, they're much quicker to pick up on that in AIVA boxing than they are in professional boxing. Referees will let a lot more go, but it is still, even though it's a 10-point must now, as it is in professional boxing, it is still very much about making contact with the knuckle part of the glove. That's a good right hand from Murtazaliev, just on the inside, just swung it from low and caught Mukhamatsyan on the way in, and this has been a better round for Murtazaliev so far, I would say. Just closed the gap rather ever so slightly. Some good body work, but again Mukhamatsyan just swings that nice fluid backhand. Needs maybe just to take half a step back to give himself a bit more room for it, because Murtazaliev is always just walking him forward and working him down. Open mouth there, Murtazaliev, still just sucking in the air as these two get a little bit of a break towards the end of the second. Ten-second warning. And this has been a better one for Haji Murtazaliev of the Azerbaijan Baku fighters. Good action though, plenty of punches thrown by both of them. And they're both, I think, already beginning to feel the pace somewhat. I was talking about Levitt at the start, and it was a thrilling fight between Vasily Levitt and Arlans in the finals last season. Levitt took it, but he was really hanging on. Savon took it, I beg your pardon, but he was really hanging on. The announcer actually gave the decision to Levitt correctly and had to reverse it. Well, that's interesting. One judge has gone for Murtazaliev. That's how I would have gone, to tie it up at 19 apiece. The other two have gone for Mukhamaddin, so he opens up a 2-point lead now. Difficult one to score, that second round. Neither of them really won all that conclusively, I wouldn't say. One apiece it would be for me, but two judges have gone 2-0 so far, so a lot for Hadji Murtazaliev to do here. And if he can't get it done, then it will be game, set and match to the Astana Arlans after just 3 bouts. You do want to win 5-0 or 4-1 rather than 3-2. You get more points for the more comprehensive win. Or rather, your opponents get a single point for a narrow defeat. And there's a good right hand from Mukhamaddin, found Murtazaliev towards the start of that round, and Murtazaliev, I think, knows that he's going to need to open up a bit here, and that's where he needs it, that kind of range, so he can just throw those punches up from the weight, those cuffing left and right hands. But he's got to keep throwing, he's got to keep those gloves moving, because whenever he freezes and just pauses slightly, that's what happens. Work rate has got to be high from Murtazaliev. If he's going to stay in the pocket, he can't stand there without throwing. That's a good combination from Murtazaliev. Mukhamaddin tries to come back with the left hand. Everything that he throws that even half lands gets a big cheer from this crowd, but none of those really got through. Didn't land cleanly, and that's exactly what Michael Gallagher's saying there. It was the inside of the glove. Murtazaliev has got to keep popping out that jab if he needs to, and then he swings up the right hand from the waist. He can get good purchase with those, gets on the inside, sets his feet and lets them go. And that was another good body shot as well, and that's what he needs to do, because on 2 of these cards he's got to win the final 3 rounds. Crowd trying to get behind Mukhamaddin. He just managed to navigate his way out of that corner. When he puts those combinations together, Murtazaliev, he really does look a good fighter. Well, the elbow was more being used by Mukhamaddin there, I would say, than Murtazaliev, but the referee saw it the other way. Murtazaliev just looking to get on the jab and then fire in the backhand if he can. And he's just bullying Mukhamaddin back towards the end of this round. I would say this is a fairly clear one for Murtazaliev. If he doesn't get this, then really he's got no chance, because he'll be 3-0 down on 2 of the cards with a couple of rounds remaining. A little bit after the bell, that, from Mukhamaddin, but I don't think it was in any way deliberate. So the punch output from these two, particularly from Murtazaliev, is pretty impressive. Nice right hand off the back foot there from Mukhamaddin. A nice little raiding mission there too, but some good smart manoeuvring from Murtazaliev. Three rounds down. Well, 2 of the judges there have gone for Mukhamaddin again, so he opens up at 30 points for 27 lead on 2 of the cards. The other one, Judge A, has gone for Murtazaliev. I'm scoring it in line with Judge A, I must admit. I would have Murtazaliev 29 points to 28 up for myself, but the other 2 who have been selected from the 5 judges at ringside have seen it all Mukhamaddin's way so far, so Murtazaliev has got a lot to do here. Scoring a 10-8 round in AIBA boxing doesn't necessarily mean you need to knock your opponent down. It's all about interpreting dominance, so you can win a 10-8 round without sending your opponent to the canvas, which is a good thing, I think. It's a good scoring system. But it does mean that he's going to have to really put it on Murtazaliev in these final 2 rounds to get a 10-8 round. Cuffing left hand there from Mukhamatsyan was a good shot. He's heavy-handed, Murtazaliev. His hands aren't all that quick. There doesn't seem to be a massive amount of snap in the punches, but they thud in. Not a snappy puncher, but as I say, a heavy one. Those left-right hands when he gets in close and just holds his feet. Just being like clubbed around the head with a wet sandbag, really. It's that kind of motion he has. And it's a similar passage to this round than the ones we've seen before, really. I would say similar to rounds 2 and 3, where Mukhamatsyan has done some good work on the back foot, but Murtazaliev, for the most part, when the fights are coming forward, that was a good, crisp right hand lead, really, from Murtazaliev that just caught Mukhamatsyan flush in the face as he came forward. And again, this is another tight round. It's not really being dominated by either of these two fighters. Mukhamatsyan again just warned by Michael Gallagher for using the inside of the forearm, connecting with the inside of the glove. Murtazaliev gets through with the left hand. Mukhamatsyan throws a big overhand left bomb, but doesn't really find its target. Right to the body there from Mukhamatsyan, and again he does throw these round bent arm punches, which are always in danger of going around the back of the head. I think it's really just a question, when you score this fight, of what you like. It's a phrase you hear in boxing a lot. Do you like the fighter counter-punching off the back foot? Maybe the more accurate one. Good work there from Mukhamatsyan, or the one coming forward. Again, that's a tight round. That is a tight round. I could quite easily see how that one could go either way. But there's no way that Murtazaliev has scored a 10-8 round in there, that's for sure. So really he's going to need to stop Jurkin Mukhamatsyan in this 5th and final round to get the win here. I wouldn't be surprised if all 3 judges have gone Mukhamatsyan's way with that one. Towards the end of the round he got through with some good clean shots. Towels just being flapped in front of the fighters as they sit on their stools, just trying to get the air circulating, trying to cool them down slightly as they come off those stools for this final 3 minutes. This contest at heavyweight between Jurkin Mukhamatsyan on the right-hand side of your screen in the yellow and black of the Astana Arlans, and Haji Murtazaliev of the Azerbaijan Baku Fires in the black shorts with the flaming bottoms on them. Didn't see the scores at the end of that 4th round, but even if we had, it wouldn't really have changed anything. Even if all 3 judges had given it to Haji Murtazaliev, he would still need to stop Mukhamatsyan in this 5th and final round. That's the simple equation here, because he was 3 rounds to 0 down on 2 cards after 3, winning by a point on the other. Good stiff straight left hand there from Murtazaliev, who's just trying to walk Mukhamatsyan down, as he has done all fight, really. Going to the body with the left hand. Physically, when you look at the two, Mukhamatsyan is quite a lot bigger than Murtazaliev. They both had to make 91 kilos to fight at this weight. He's got broad shoulders on him, Mukhamatsyan, at 21 years old. I wonder how long he will be able to fight at heavyweight, how long it'll be before he moves up to super heavyweight. Nice right hand there from Mukhamatsyan. It's been an entertaining fight, this one as well. They both put plenty into this. A couple more lacerations just around the mouth there of Murtazaliev. Into the final minute. The crowd, I think, wanting Mukhamatsyan to finish with a flourish here. Right hand just caught Murtazaliev as he was walking forward. Mukhamatsyan turns his back almost there, and the referee just saying that that's not within the rules. The final 10 seconds, and Murtazaliev has never stopped coming forward here. He's not going to get the decision. But I would probably give him this final round, and on my card that would have made it Murtazaliev just by 3 rounds to 2, but we'd already seen after 3 rounds the scoring had gone 3 rounds to 0 twice for Mukhamatsyan and 2 rounds to 1 for Murtazaliev, so it's impossible really for Murtazaliev to have turned that around on the basis of those last 2 rounds. Tight rounds to score though. Different views for different judges at different angles, different sides of the ring. It does make a difference. With this announcement, I think we can be pretty confident and that will see the Astana Arlans go 3-0 up in the match and clinch the win. Our MC is just striding through the ropes. The fighters being called to the centre of the ring. He's very experienced, Haji Murtazaliev. I don't think he will be too impressed, but maybe not unsurprised by the decision we're about to get.
Judge 1, 47-48. Judge 2, 49-46. Judge 3, 48-47. Winner points by split decision. Winner is red corner, Yerkan Mukhamatsyan.
Well, Yerkan Mukhamatsyan gets it. Judge A scored it 48-47 for Murtazaliev, which was how I had it myself. Judge C, the same score, but the other way. Judge B going 49-46, which was too wide for me. 48-47 either way, but 49-46, a little bit too far towards Mukhamatsyan, I would say. But the win goes the way of the 21-year-old on his debut, so a real feather in the cap there against a performer like Haji Murtazaliev, and the Astana Arlans open up a 3-0 lead.
Сонымен, қымбатты спорт сүйер қауым ардақтағайын, кешіміздің жекпе-жегін ары қарай жалғастыруға біз дайынбыз. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to continue fourth bout of our evening. Referee of this bout is Mick Bussey, England. Please welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, weight category 64 kilograms. To the blue corner of the ring, we invite boxer from Azerbaijan, Baku Fires team, Gaybatullah Gadzhialiyev. Qarsalingizlar.
Good fighter, Gaybatullah Gadzhialiyev, boxed at London 2012, has beaten Walikhanov twice in WSB up to this point, in April 2014, and also last season as well. And he's also beaten Yasniel Toledo of Cuba twice, and you've got to be some kind of an operator to do that. Yasniel Toledo, a fighter right out of the very top draw. And the Baku Fires will be looking to Gadzhi Aliyev to get a win here. It's too late to win the tie. Got a lot of pride at stake. Kazakhstan meets Azerbaijan, and just down there working the corner as well, which is always good to see. Javid Dadashov, who we saw in action earlier on, eager to get in there and observe at close quarters and learn.
Дамы и господа, поприветствуем Гайбатулла Камчалиев! Оның қарсыласы Astana Arlans командасының былғары қолғап шебері. Батырымызды қарсы алыңыздар, Asqat Walikhanov!
Well, Walikhanov is after revenge because, as mentioned, he's already lost twice to Gaibatullah Gadzhi Aliyev. He was 0-2 last season. The other fight he lost was against Vincenzo Mangiapane of the Italia Thunder. It was Samat Basanov who boxed mostly for the Arlans at this weight last season, and he had a great season. Beat Toledo in the final, finished 7-0 overall, but because he didn't box every week in the group stages, he finished 5-0 and didn't manage to qualify via WSB. Raul Curiel Garcia and Yasniel Toledo did that, so Basanov still needs to qualify, so we will see him over the coming weeks, I'm sure. Walikhanov is given first bite here at light welter for the Arlans.
Asqat Walikhanov!
Okay, keep your heads up, keep your punches up, no holding, no punching here. Touch gloves, good luck.
Referee Mick Bassey from the UK.
Round 1, birinci round.
So here we go, first round, 5 3-minute rounds at light welterweight. Gaibatullah Gadzhi Aliyev in the blue corner from the Azerbaijan Baku Fires, in the black shorts with the flames coming out of the bottom, and for the Astana Arlans, Asqat Walikhanov in the yellow and black. Southpaw Walikhanov, 2008 Kazakh junior champion, does like to work the body from what I've seen of him before. Fights out of that kind of crouch, Gadzhi Aliyev, makes himself a difficult target to find. Wings out with those hooks as well. Good aggressive start though from Walikhanov as well. Well, that was a nice right hand that just staggered Walikhanov. He was rocked back onto his heels there, took a couple of steps back, but I don't think Gadzhi Aliyev felt he'd really hurt him there. He'd have jumped on him if he did. Whips that right hand out, as I said, just in that shell-like defence, and then those hands really explode from it. Dips low, makes it quite an awkward customer, and there again, he just tucks up, but when he throws a punch, he really does throw it. Doesn't really jab at all, Gadzhi Aliyev, just feinting with his front foot there, trying to draw something from Walikhanov. See if he can get him to walk onto one of those big, wide, booming left and right hands.
Stop!
Walekhanov just leaning in with the backhand and looking for that lead uppercut almost with the right there. That southpaw right hand. Again, a good contest this between these two. Even contest so far. He's not really made contact with any of those big shots, Gadzhiev. Almost seemed slightly distracted there as they were breaking. The referee hadn't issued any instructions though. An apology forthcoming from Walekhanov, but there was really no need for one. McBassi just warning about heads again. Good opening round, plenty of punches traded between these two. Neither of them were really all that accurate. Plenty thrown with intent. That was a nice clipping left hand there from Gadzhiev as he just rocked onto his back foot. And all three judges have gone for Gadzhiev. Tight one to score. Can make arguments, none of which would be all that convincing either way.
Seconds out. Round 2.
7 fighters qualified at 64 kilograms for the Olympics so far from a vast array of countries: Algeria, Mexico, Russia, Uzbekistan, Germany, Thailand, Cuba. It was Toledo of Cuba and Raul Curiel of Mexico who came through via WSB last season. Vitaly Denaitsev of Russia was the man who took gold in Doha in October. Walekhanov trying to use the jab a bit more in this second round. Big left hand there from Gadzhiev, but the glove was up for Walekhanov. He didn't really get through clean. That right hand did, though. And that's quite an interesting shot, that, from Gadzhiev, because his weight was really coming forward as he threw it. And he ended up on the shoulder of his opponent, and you can throw that kind of punch with almost impunity in a way because it can't be countered. It's something that Bernard Hopkins has done a lot throughout the course of his career. Throw that right hand and just follow it in, because it makes it impossible for your opponent really to get a reply in, but it does mean that you can just throw that single shot. And it is an interesting method he has, Gadzhiev, as I say, just tucks up in that kind of crouch, almost a kind of peekaboo style at times. Plenty of upper body movement, and then just throws power shots, a lot of big power punches, loads up on them. Nice couple of punches to the body there from Walekhanov. Slightly untidy, off balance there from Gadzhiev. Walekhanov's boxed nicely in the last minute or so. Good reflexes there as well. Again, makes Gadzhiev miss. Ten seconds left to go in the round. Left to the body there from Walekhanov, and then Gadzhiev just pounded away with a couple to the body. That was a good round. That was a good tight round.
Дамы и господа, представляем боксеров в красном углу ринга.
That was that right hand that got through from distance. Didn't really catch Walekanov clean with the left there. These big bombing lefts and rights. That was the right hand that he stuck in, and that was a really good punch, just moving away to his right-hand side after he threw it as well. And all three judges have gone for Gadzhiev again here. There's not much in this, but I can see why. They've all gone for the Azerbaijan Baku fighter over the course of the first 2 rounds.
Seconds out. Round 3.
So Ashkat Walekanov with it all to do, 2 rounds down on all 3 scorecards heading into this third. I thought he kept his boxing together well in that second round. Nice and organised. He's not an easy man to fight, Gadzhiev. Those big heavy punches just winging in from the sides. He doesn't throw too many straight shots. Did get through with a good one with his right hand in that previous round. Walekanov more a kind of orthodox fighter, if you like. He fights out of the unorthodox stance, though, as a southpaw, but what he does, I think, bears closer kind of relation to what you might find in the coaching manual. Looking to go to the body there, Walekanov. Just standing in front of Gadzhiev there, which is not where he wants to be. Good clubbing right again there from Gadzhiev. That's a good left hand, though, there from Walekanov, who answers him back. And he's making a good fist of things in this fight. He's 0-2 against Gadzhiev over the course of the last couple of years, as we mentioned. Walekanov, self-confessed admirer of Gennady Golovkin, the most famous Kazakh fighter these days. Had a very, very good amateur career himself, actually. Amateur boxing as it was when he was in those ranks, Olympic-style boxing, AIBA boxing as we call it now. World Championship silver medalist, Golovkin. Referee just having a quick word with Walekanov about pushing down on the back of his opponent's neck, just trying to bring him on to punches. Gadzhiev was happy enough just to hold on in there. It's a good punch that he throws off the back foot, that right hand, but if he doesn't move after he's thrown it, then he's a fairly easy target to find. Good example there of why Gadzhiev is difficult to hit, because he just dips low at the waist and Walekanov is having to punch down at close quarters. Right hand got through there, right on the bell from Gadzhiev. Well, Walekanov gets that one on the judges' scorecards. An indication there of the kind of fight this has been. I didn't see too much difference between that round and the previous two. 2-1 to Gadzhiev, which makes this a live contest going into the last couple of rounds.
Round 4, third round.
Walekanov needs to try and build on that if he can. Nice little uppercut in there from Gadzhialiev with the left hand, really close in. It's a good punch and then fires away the left hook. Walekanov just shaking out those arms. Lactic acid will be building up in those limbs now. Into the fourth round, the right hand, right cross comes in from Gadzhialiev. He just then goes for a little walk, tucks up nicely as Walekanov looks to dig in a right to the body. Bit of a smile there from Gadzhialiev as he drops those gloves and just relies on his reflexes with mixed results. Nice left hand followed by a right though from the Azerbaijan fighter. I just get the feeling that Gadzhialiev fancies his chances of hurting Walekanov. I think maybe he feels that Walekanov is just slowing down slightly. Gadzhialiev just tying up Walekanov's right arm on the blind side of the referee there. He's just looking to spring into action. Spring out of that tortoise shell. Again, let's go with the left hand and then spins away to his right hand side, but that was no knockdown. Referee just wiping the gloves off. Into the final minute of round 4. Just switched orthodox there for a spell, Walekanov. Not very long, he got through with a jab though. Gadzhialiev made to miss with a rather obvious overhand right, but then again comes back with those wide hooks, left followed by right. Nice left hand there from Walekanov. Gadzhialiev just tries to get up on the balls of his feet. Good finish to the round for both of these two. Walekanov has been the one who has come forward more. And were he to get this round, that would tie it up at 2 apiece going into the 5th and final round, and I would not rule that out. Gadzhialiev looked a little bit weary there as he walked back towards his stool, I thought. I think Walekanov is probably the better conditioned of these two fighters. But he still just keeps that head moving, Gadzhialiev. We're talking fractions, inches. Doesn't move a lot, but it doesn't need to move a lot. He makes you miss by not very much at all. And that's interesting. So 2 of the judges have gone for Walekanov, which ties those 2 cards up at 38 apiece. The other one has gone for Gadzhialiev, so he's got clear water there on Judge B's card. And essentially, what that means is that Walekanov needs to win both of those 2 even cards to get the split decision win, whereas Gadzhialiev needs to just take one of them. He's got to keep the work rate high here, Walekanov, but Gadzhialiev has got to try and match him. He just cannot let Walekanov come forward and dictate the pace, because I feel that that is what has won Walekanov those last couple of rounds. He's been the man coming forward, he's been the man who's made the fight. There was a good flurry there from Gadzhialiev though, put 4 or 5 punches together. And that's what he needs to do more, I think, to catch the eyes of the judges, rather than just club away with those single shots. They do have an effect, but he just needs to work a bit more. Effectively, he's got 1 scorecard in the bag at 39-37. There's no possible way that he's going to lose this round 10-7. Mick Bassi just having a word with Gadzhialiev about holding there, which is just a slight sign that he might be a little bit tired. But just staying in that shell and then exploding out for the odd punch, I don't think it's going to do it for him here. Because Walekanov is throwing in flurries. They're not all getting through, but it's good eye-catching stuff. Better from Gadzhialiev. He just got his hands moving. A nice left hand there from Gadzhialiev. Referee just telling them to keep their heads up. Left hand there from Gadzhialiev. Just a single punch, but it got through. Heading in towards the last minute, and this one really up for grabs. And whoever finishes this final minute stronger could well be the one who gets the decision here. Astana Arlans, of course, 3-0 ahead of the Azerbaijan Baku Fires after that split decision win at heavyweight. The Baku Fires will badly want to get on the board. He slung in the right hand there and then just backed off Gadzhialiev. Crunching left there from Walikhanov, who's staying busy. And at the moment, I think Walikhanov might be getting this round purely on work rate. And were he to, then with it, will go the fight in his favour. Gadzhialiev throwing right to the very end, as is Walikhanov. The bell's going to sound any moment now, and that was a really good contest between those two. The crowd appreciated as well, they might. Slight celebration there from Gadzhialiev. Remember, it was 38-38 on two of the cards going into that final round, 39-37 to Gadzhialiev on the other. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we have three scores of 48-47 here, two of them to Ashkat Walikhanov and one of them to Gaibatullah Gadzhialiev, because I would give that final round to Ashkat Walikhanov. And if all three judges do, then we will have the outcome that I've just described, but we shall see very shortly. But it was a good fight. Walikhanov, as we know, has lost twice against Gadzhialiev in recent times. So he'll be very keen to get the win. But Walikhanov, for me, looked the fitter of the two. And that could be, in the final analysis, really what this comes down to. Well, our announcer just taking his time with the scores there, making sure he's got this one absolutely right. So here we go.
Sonымен, töreçlerimizin şeşme. Ladies and gentlemen, decision of Judge Committee. Judge 1, 47-48. Judge 2, 46-49. Judge 3, 47-48. Winning points by unanimous decision. Winner is blue corner, Gaibatullah Gadzhialiev.
Well, Gaibatullah Gadzhialiev gets the decision, and he has been given that final round on all three of the judges' scorecards. Again, it was a tight one, and I can't really make too much argument either way there. Good performance though from Walikhanov, but unfortunately Gadzhialiev proves once again to be his nemesis. But the Azerbaijan Baku Fires get one on the board, so it's 3-1 to the Astana Arlans. After that fourth bout of the evening at light welterweight.
Qimmatqadrdon mirzalar, bugungi kechimizning so'nggi jekpa-jeki. Endişe 75 kg salmoq darajasida ko'chmas burun to'rishimizda ring turni chaqiruga ruxsat etingizlar. Ladies and gentlemen, referee of this bout, Fatih Matfo. Friends, please welcome.
Middleweight is the final fight we've got remaining this evening.
Весовая категория до 75 килограмм. Один из самых ожидаемых противостояний вечера. В синий угол ринга приглашаем боксера из команды Azerbaijan Baku Fires. Qarsalingizlar, Badri Kharziani.
Well, Badri Kharziani 22 years old from Georgia, so one of the overseas fighters for the Baku Fires. And again, an inexperienced campaigner at this level finds himself in against a fighter of the same age, but with a lot more WSB combat, a lot more minutes in the ring under his belt. Just being told to steady on slightly there before he made the march up the steps. He's got a task on his hands here because Mirim Nursultanov of the Astana Arlans is a quality operator.
Onun karşılası Kazaklar Handalası'nın balası Batırımız, Arlanımız Kırsalıyızlar Mirim Nursultanov.
Well, Nursultanov was 7-0 at the end of the WSB Season 5. He beat Arlen Lopez in the finals. Lopez, who went on to win gold in the World Championships. Lopez also qualified for the Olympics via WSB as well last season. Nursultanov was 5-0 at the end of the group stages, which made him 5th in the rankings. Good example of what I was talking about earlier. He was rested at stages, which helped the team, but in terms of his individual ranking, meant that he was out of the running, really, to qualify via the WSB. So he still has work to do to get to the Rio Olympics as well, but I don't think he will be lacking any confidence on that front. Lopez, I thought, was one of the outstanding fighters in Doha. Any man who is capable of beating him really should be at an Olympic Games. So, final fight of the night, 3-minute rounds rather, at middleweight between Badri Kaziani of the Azerbaijan Baku Fires in that blue corner, and in the red corner, Mirim Nursultanov. Started boxing at 13, Nursultanov. Kazakh boys, Kazakh men brought up with boxing. I remember going to the National Boxing Academy to watch the Cuba Domadores train before the WSB finals last June, and it's a huge facility, a big kind of almost aircraft hangar of a place with 4 or 5 rings in the centre, kind of cardio section towards the back as well, a little mini track, and there were plenty of young fighters in there being put through their paces. Nice right hand there from Nursultanov as he just moved away to his right-hand side. And as I said, this is the baptism of fire, really, for Kaziani. Nursultanov as well was the 2014 Kazakh national champion. Jabbing to the body there, Nursultanov. Alongside Lopez, who was Petr Kamakov of Russia, who got the 2nd berth at middleweight for Olympic qualification in WSB last season. The likes of Ilyas Abadi of Algeria, Hossam Abdin of Egypt, who finished 3rd in the World Championships, beat Ireland's Michael O'Reilly in a box-off for that 3rd qualifying spot. O'Reilly was a bit unlucky, I thought, in that fight. Artem Chevatarev of Russia, Thomas Yablonsky Adam Kilici, and Bektemir Melikuziev of Uzbekistan, who I mentioned earlier. He will be in the WSB this season, fighting for the Uzbek Tigers. Anthony Fowler of the Great Britain Lionhearts, GB Lionhearts, he'll be very much focusing on making it through to the Olympics in Rio as well. It's a very rich, deep division. Traditionally always has been. Sultanov with a good right hand there. Found the side of Kardziani's head. Bell goes to the end of the first round, and interesting first round actually. Kardziani has definitely come to fight here. I haven't seen much of him. Tell a lie, I haven't seen any of him actually before this contest. I've seen a fair bit of Nursultanov, who struggled really in the opening 3 minutes to get his distance. He was either just slightly too far away or slightly too close. That was the only punch he threw which really got through, but Kardziani wore it well. Sultanov, though, gets a nod from all three judges.
Seconds out. Round 2, екінші раунд.
Kardziani a little tentative with the jab, just pushing it out there rather than snapping it out. Quiet opening minute to the second round. Neither has really committed so far. Nursultanov launched one attack. It didn't pay any real dividends. Kardziani happy to keep this at distance. Look for the right hand. As soon as he threw the right hand, Nursultanov let go with a left hook. Backhand almost got through there from Kardziani, and some good evasive work from him as well there as Nursultanov looked to try and reply. Nursultanov just marauding forward, but again, nothing really landed as they just broke there. There was a left and a right hand from Nursultanov. Just falling slightly short with the jab and then with the right hand there, Nursultanov. Kardziani not all that easy a target to find. He hasn't thrown much himself, though, which I think will probably count against him. Bell goes at the end of the second round. Just clipped the chin right at the end of its journey there, that right hand from Murat Nursultanov. It was a good fight he had against Arlen Lopez in the Season 5 finals. We had 3 or 4 fights that went right to the final round, 2 apiece after the first 4. The majority of the time, it was Astana Arlans who closed the stronger and got the decision. Nursultanov has picked up the second round there as well, so 2-0 up. Rounds so far on all 3 judges' scorecards. He's been the more aggressive of the 2.
Seconds out. Round 3, machine shootout.
Again, proving an elusive target, Kaziani. He does have some skills, but offensively, just a little lacking, really. Short left hand just caught Kaziani there as he was trying to come forward that time. Kaziani trying to get to work to the body. Good left hand there from Nursultanov. Just slung it up from the waist. Kaziani just didn't seem to really see it. Nursultanov just beginning to get through a little bit more regularly here. Doesn't really use the reach that he has. He's got pretty long levers himself, Kaziani. Nursultanov is one of those rarities, really. A fighter with a bit of height and a bit of reach who almost prefers it on the inside. Likes to get to that kind of 3/4 distance, which just allows him to get some real leverage, really, just to dig his toes in and pump those arms. Good right to the body, just stopped Kaziani on his way in there. Nursultanov looking to jab to the body. Hasn't really launched any kind of a sustained attack in this round, Nursultanov. Neither of these 2 fighters have. Crowd just trying to get these 2 going, I think. Nursultanov moved forward there, a left hand came in from Kaziani. A glancing blow more than anything else. A raise of the eyebrows there from Nursultanov. I think he's finding Kaziani fairly tricky in there. Kaziani's not really posing too many problems coming forward, but he's not easy to hit. It's the greater aggression, really, that's winning this fight for Middleweight Nursultanov so far. He's throwing more, and although his conversion ratio, his punch percentage wouldn't be that high, he will still be landing with more than Kaziani, I would say. Well, the judges split on that one. Kardziani gets it from Judge A, Nursultanov gets it from B and C, so 3-point margin on 2 cards, just the 1 round for Judge A.
Round 4, 4th round.
2 rounds to go. Just fell in behind his right hand a bit there, Kardziani. You could see that right foot just leave the canvas and swing round slightly, but Nursultanov couldn't take advantage. Nursultanov just bursting out of that tight defence. I think he would like to see Kardziani come forward a bit more these last 2 rounds, see if he can just draw him in and find some openings. Better work there from Kardziani. Not heavy punching, but accurate punching. Again, just falling short with the right hand, Kardziani. Wasn't made to pay by Nursultanov. Very much regards himself as an all-rounder, Nursultanov. Feels that he can fight in any style required, which at this level you really need to be able to do. Good jab, nice stiff jab there from Nursultanov. Haven't seen much of that. Final minute of round 4. Again, just reaching a bit with that right hand. They're both doing that. Nursultanov just putting some punches together there. Right hand, a kind of screw punch, 45-degree punch almost, then a good backhand got through, and Kardziani is down. Kardziani is saying that that should be called no knockdown, but the referee is counting. It was a punch that started it off. I think he did just lose his balance rather. But that was caused by the blow that was landed by Nursultanov. So a legitimate knockdown there, and Nursultanov in the final few seconds is just trying to pull the pressure on here. I don't think Kardziani is really hurt. At no point did his legs, or knees rather, go loose, or his eyes lose any kind of focus. But a strong finish to the round there all the same for Meriem Nursultanov. Well, just 3 minutes remaining of this contest down middleweight, and Nursultanov, unsurprisingly, gets it on all 3 cards. 10-8 from Judge C. That will be not entirely due to that knockdown, but due to the dominance achieved by him, which was highlighted really by the knockdown. As I said, the knockdown doesn't necessarily result in a 10-8 scoreline, as you can see from those cards, because A and B have both given it 10-9. So this is very much in the bag here for Meriem Nursultanov. Kardziani has got 1 more round to negotiate here. He's boxed pretty well at times, I would say. Just interested to see if Nursultanov really goes after him now in the final 3 minutes, having knocked him down at the end of the 4th. And the early signs are that he will. I just thought the legs dipped ever so slightly there from Kardziani as he was pushed back into that neutral corner. A right hand got through. Did a good job in the first 3 rounds of staying away from the Sultanov, and he needs to try and do that now. Just ships in an uppercut there, Kaziani. He doesn't want to be getting too close to the Sultanov, though. Needs to use this ring. Volley of punches caught Kaziani. The gloves were up, but they had an impact. You could see that. Nice left hand from the Sultan. Obviously just moved in, threw it on the move. I think that's a little harsh from the referee, indicating that he may have made contact with the inside of the glove. It looked clean enough to me. Just reaching again with the left and right hand there slightly. Well, into the final minute we go. This will be another win for the Astana Arlans. It'll be 4-1 on the night, so a good start to them in defence of their WSB crown. The only teams who've won it twice in seasons 3 and seasons 5. Chopping down with that right hand, though, Sultanov. Just missed the chin of Kaziani. He's done okay here. He's been outgunned. But that wobble at the end of the 4th round aside, and just a slight one towards the start of the 5th as well. He's never looked in any real danger of being stopped. But he's going to lose this wide on the cards, that's for sure. Well, the bell goes at the end of the 5th round, and that will be, as I say, another victory for the Astana Arlans. Sultanov put a lot into that final round. I think he felt after the first 20 seconds or so that maybe he could get Kaziani out of there, but Kaziani wisely after that decided to get those feet moving, get on his bike and really do his best to stay out of trouble. When the Sultanov saw that that was the case, he almost eased down the gear, realising that the likelihood of him being able to catch his man and force a stoppage was pretty remote. When you saw the lineups for this match, Astana Arlans were always going to be the favourites, but it was a competitive match. Haji Murtaza Aliyev could have got the decision at heavyweight, which after Ghazi Aliyev's victory would have set things up at 2 apiece going into this 5th and final contest. So the margins, as always, were still pretty fine. We'll now just get the scorecards from this middleweight bout.
We have decision of judge committee. Judge 1, 49-46. Judge 2, 50-45. Judge 3, 50-44. Winner points by unanimous decision. Winner is red corner, Miram.
So Judge A giving Kaziani 1 round, returning a 49-46, 50-45 and 50-44. Judge C scoring that 4th round, 10 points to 8. So convincing stuff there from Miran Nursultanov, as you would expect from a man of his ability. And so the final result from the boxing centre Safayev in Karaganda City is Astana Arlans 4, Azerbaijan, Baku fires 1.
Azerbaijan, Baku fires. Karsalayak. Бүгінгі кешіміздің осы шаршалаң егерлері батырларымыз Astana Arlans қарсылая.
Жарысқа шығу батылдарға ғана лайық. Шын батыр жігіт кетпейді сертенен тайып. Келесің сен де жеңіске барады жолда. Шашалан саған тұрғы құшағын жайып. Жасыма сен арман күтсе алдан, қарсы тұрса да тастай қорған. Алан орман ал сен арлан. Astana Arlans, сенің жүрегің боладай берік. Astana Arlans, жығала тек қана сен бүгін жерге. Astana Arlans, батылсың болсын жолына серік. Astana Arlans, ешкімге ешқашан намысыңды берме.
Сонымен, ардақты ағайын, бүгінгі кездесудің ресми шешімі 4-1 есебімен жеңіске жеткен шаршалаң егерлері, қазақ даласының батырлары, арландары, Astana Arlans! А теперь мы приглашаем обе команды в центр рига для церемонии фотографирования. Келлингсдер. Дамы и господа. Клуб Astana Arlans, входящий в состав президентского профессионального спортивного клуба Astana, выражает благодарность генеральному спонсору акционерное общество, Фонду национального благосостояния Самруб-Казана, официальному спонсору акционерное общество Цеснобанк, акимату Карагандинской области, акимату города Караганда за помощь и содействие в организации мероприятий всемирной серии бокса. Также благодарим сеть семейных ресторанов «Макдак». Информационным партнером клуба и хост-вещателем матчей Astana Arlans является телеканал «Хабар». И, конечно же, желаем удачи нашим чемпионам. Команде Astana Arlans яркие поединки, зрелищный бокс. Все это Astana Arlans. Место встречи изменить нельзя. Это ринг. Будьте здоровы! Екінші кешімізді бастаймыз және бұлақтарымызды рейд көрме қарсы алыңыздар.